I do have a bald head. I guess he was intimidated or something. I don't know. But he put his hand on his gun and told me to get back in the vehicle. And that was another one of those got pulled over for no reason. I didn't get a ticket. He chewed me out about wanting to know where I was going. Why was I going? I mean, what was I in a hurry for? He accused me of running a red light. Red light. I did not.
He was just being a jerk.
Yeah, he was being a jerk. He put his hand on his pistol. I'm thinking, different story. That's a whole different story. So this guy pulls me over. I'm sitting there. I'm staying buckled up. I ain't moving. And then he turns off his headlights. Still got the blue lights going. Turns on his spotlight and he shines at the back of the car. And then he says, I'm just sitting there because I can't tell what's going on behind me. Then he says, he hollers, he's like, "Hey, driver, get out and come back here." So I'm like, okay. So I unbuckle, I get my wallet because I don't ride with my wallet in my pocket because it hurts my butt cheek on these seats. So I get my wallet and I get out and I go back there. And as soon as I get back there, or I'm almost to him, and then he asks me who I am. What's your name? And I tell him. Then he tells me who he is. And he's like, "Come up here in front of the car." And I'm thinking to myself, why did you get me to go all the way back there? And now he's walking me to the front of the Miata. So we get to the front and he's like, "You can't ride with those lights on like that." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "The ones down at the bottom, when you meet a car, you have to turn those off." And I'm like, man, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not saying it out loud because I don't want to stir up get cuffed and stuff or nothing. So I'm thinking to myself, man, why am I getting pulled over because I got my driving lights on at the same time as my headlights? 99% of the cars that you meet, or that I meet, that have daytime, down to fog lights, but they're not yellow. Those white lights down closer to the ground, those were on. And he said that's against the law to drive with those on, unless it's raining or foggy or something like that. So I'm thinking to myself, what? So I said, so what about these cars when they dim their lights all of a sudden? They're on. They wasn't on at first when they had them on bright. They dim them and now all of a sudden those on. He said that's against the law. You have to turn those off. I'm like, okay. From now on, I'll turn them off.
And you did.
I came straight to the shop, and because the way mine were wired up, when I would dim them, it would actually turn off the top lights, and all I would have was one down low. And I'm thinking I'm gonna get in trouble for that, having those lights just down low. I figured I'd get in trouble for that. So I came to the shop and I disconnected the ones down low, so all I had was the top ones, just to, in case I got pulled over, in case he saw me again.